Alrighty, we can officially get started. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our Exploring Daily Life in Santa Barbara webinar. My name is Citlali. I am an admissions counselor here at UC Santa Barbara. So in my role, I work with families, students. I guide you through the very exciting admissions process. Fun little fact about myself that I do like to highlight is that I am a UCSB alumni. I really enjoyed my time here, and I wish I had all the information I'm about to give you when I was applying, considering different campuses, which is why I created today's session, because I think it's really helpful to learn about the different communities you guys are considering. So today's virtual open house session is really all about exploring what life looks like beyond the classroom at UC Santa Barbara and how you as a student can truly make the most out of your time here at UC Santa Barbara. When considering a college campus, I think it's very important to not just consider the academic factors, which is something very important, but also the community you guys are going to be joining. Whether you're new to the area or somewhat familiar, this webinar is going to give you a deeper look into how students spend their time, how they connect with the community, and really just create very unforgettable experiences within Santa Barbara County. Now, during the duration of the webinar, we are going to have some polls like the one I just sent out, so you guys can feel free to start answering. And that is, have you ever visited Santa Barbara? We are also very lucky to have two undergraduate students who are currently pursuing their studies here at UC Santa Barbara joining us, and I'm going to give them a second to introduce themselves. But before I do that, I do want to let you know that this is a webinar space, so you guys cannot turn on your camera. It is just us, the host and the panelists, that will have our cameras on during the duration of the session. But if you guys have any questions or concerns, it could be directed at me, an admissions counselor, or our undergraduate students that are joining us today. There is a Q&A chat box function. That is where you are going to be dropping all of those questions, because the chat box in and of itself is going to be disabled. So you are not able to ask any questions in there. But of course, you have the Q&A box readily available to you. And I'm going to go ahead and ask Kaya to go ahead and introduce herself first.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Kaya. I'm a second year writing and literature major in the College of Creative Studies here at UCSB. I'm also an English minor, and I might be pursuing a double minor in professional editing next year, but we'll see when it comes to that. Within the English department, I specialize in literature and mind, so it's kind of like half literature, half neuroscience. And I'm from San Francisco.
Thank you, Kaya. And I'll go ahead and pass it on to Kyra.
Hi everyone, my name's Kira. I am a fourth year. I'm double majoring in financial mathematics and economics, and I'm from Pleasanton, California.
All right, perfect. Thank you guys so much. So Kyra and Kaya are going to have their cameras turned off while they are not answering questions. But trust me, I am going to prompt them to answer some of the questions that I know you as students might have. And then at the very end, they are going to be joining us for the Q&A session, because that's probably who you guys really want to hear from. With that being said, a lot of information we had to cover, but we are going to go ahead and get started. So let's start by getting familiar with Santa Barbara County first. You are going to be moving to the Goleta and Santa Barbara area while you are a student here at UCSB. But you are also near so many more amazing cities that you can explore while pursuing your studies here at UC Santa Barbara. And I know I asked earlier, how many of you guys have already visited Santa Barbara? It seems like most of you have already visited. And so we are going to learn a lot more about the general area. But I do also want to highlight the surrounding cities, especially my non-resident students. Our location really gives you the perfect location because we aren't too far from prevalent cities. So you can explore as much as California as you possibly can while you are here with us. And yes, that's for my non-residents, but also my California students. I know I am from Southern California, so I had never seen the Central Coast area of California, and I've really taken advantage of my time here. So let me highlight some cities that are very popular. The first is Montecito. It's around 18 minutes south of campus, and it is a very affluent, kind of a more quiet city than Santa Barbara. It offers high-end dining, boutique shopping, and very luxurious resorts. My favorite fun fact about Montecito is that celebrities like Oprah, I know Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, Ariana Grande, all of those have houses in the community of Montecito. And so maybe you guys get to spot a nice little celebrity out and about. Further down is Ojai, a 55-minute drive from campus, a little bit farther out up in the mountain area, Topa Topa Mountains to be exact. The city has sort of a village-like center. It has a lot of art galleries, really cute shops, and also beautiful mountain views. So that's why the drive is a little bit higher up there. And up north, we have what we like to call Solvang. It is around 40 minutes to Santa Barbara. It's a Danish city. You might have seen it on TikTok. I know it's very popular, especially during Christmas time. And so, yes, you're going to be in this general Santa Barbara area. I hope you guys can see my mouse, but you are going to get to explore the rest of the area as well. And I really wanted to at least just highlight how perfect our location is for that. The rest of this is going to be focused a little bit on the larger Santa Barbara community. But before we officially move on from this topic, I do want to hear from my undergrad students. So now that you're a little bit more familiar, what is your favorite Santa Barbara County activity? And I know there's a lot to choose from, but I'm going to ask Kira to answer first.
I really love going to the downtown Santa Barbara area. It's really accessible by the bus system that we have right on campus. It takes about 20 minutes to get downtown. So there's a lot of different shopping opportunities if you want to go there, but also there's a lot of different food opportunities as well. There's an area called the Funk Zone that's known for a lot of their cuisines. So I really enjoy just exploring the downtown area. There's farmers markets on the weekends, and then also you can go to the pier and see the beach.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to go ahead and ask Kaya if you want to share something as well.
My answer is also going to be downtown Santa Barbara. I feel like that's pretty popular, but I'm going to focus more on the museums. There's a lot of really great museums in downtown Santa Barbara. My favorite, I'm not too old for this, is the zoo. The zoo is so much fun. There's like the little train ride around the whole zoo that's so informative. And then the Natural History Museum is also so incredible. I'm a really big outdoorsy person, so their crystal exhibit was incredible.
That is one of my favorites as well. I'm a big crystal girl. And we're going to talk a lot about those within the next couple of slides. So everyone else in the audience, you guys will also get nice little insight into the activities they're talking about. But first, let's specifically talk about your future home, and that is likely going to be Isla Vista. So when it comes to Isla Vista, this is where you're going to be spending the majority of your time. It is the unincorporated community right next to our UC Santa Barbara campus. So Isla Vista has not been annexed by either Goleta or Santa Barbara City. So that is why it is unincorporated technically. And this is truly the student town where most undergraduates live. It is really quiet as it is very lively with student life. The area in and of itself has its own park. It's called Sequoia Park. This is just one of them because there's going to be several, and it hosts events such as free live bands. I know they just had their Soultopia event, and they also have really cool thrifting events. I know these happen pretty much weekly, and it's called Thriftopia. So very accessible at the heart of the Isla Vista community. If you guys ever get a late night craving, the town has its own Isla Vista food co-op, and it's very well loved by the students. But there's also a lot of food options. So if you don't quite feel like cooking, buying some groceries or snack, there's always a lot of things accessible. I know a very popular must stop is what we call FB. And so that's kind of the better version of your burrito, nacho type of style food. So if that's kind of something you're craving, perfect place for that. And then further down Isla Vista is Sea Lookout Park. This provides a hangout spot with beach views. It's another one of those very popular parks within the area. And a favorite among surfers is Zero Beach, and that is accessible just past Sea Lookout Park. So you can kill two birds with one stone, go ahead and spend some time at the park, but also head down to the beach. And behind the beach, fun little fact, behind Devereaux Beach is going to be West Campus. So some of our buildings are actually on that side opposite of our campus. I know they have horse stables back there, so maybe if you want to bring over your own horse, that's somewhere you might be spending a lot of time at. And fun little fact about Isla Vista. So we technically do not own the community as UCSB, but it does house some of our UCSB buildings. So I know there's some courses that students go ahead and take over there. I know Embarcadero is like one of the buildings that's over there. So maybe your first year, you're going to have a class there. So very cool. Isla Vista also offers a selection of coffee stops for those of us who need a little bit of caffeine to function on a daily basis. So some closer stops are going to be Cozy Cafe and Kage, which are located at the very heart of Isla Vista. And if you're not too keen on caffeine, Blenders is a local favorite and it offers smoothie alternatives. So if you're not too big on caffeine, that's a really good option. And if you are okay with going beyond Isla Vista, there are two very popular coffee stops, and the first is going to be Old Town Coffee and Kin Bake Shop. Both of those are located in the Goleta area, which is about a 7-minute drive from campus, so not too far. I know the bus makes direct stops in front of there, and I know it's something Kyra mentioned earlier. You can directly be dropped off in that general area if you are looking to visit, right? But if you are very interested in caffeine, you might want to go on a very caffeinated journey throughout your time as a UCSB undergraduate. And this is something I created for all of you to take advantage of. So I like to call this our certified caffeine passport. We list the popular favorites among students. As mentioned previously, we have things like Cozy Cafe, Kage, Old Town Coffee, and Kin Bake Shop. But we also have a lot of other local spots. Very, very popular are Dark Coffee Company. I know they have a beachside view, so very nice. We have June Coffee Roasters, Dean, Handlebar Coffee Roasters, Lighthouse Coffee, and Santa Barbara Roasting Company. So trust me, it will take you a while to get through all of those. It really is up to you what you're looking for, what environment you want to be in. Maybe you need more of a quiet space. Maybe you want to be out in the beach area. So maybe you're looking at somewhere like Dark Coffee Company, but the options are really limitless. And I want to point out, because I want to be very inclusive to all of our students, maybe you're not big on caffeine. That is totally okay. Maybe it's your New Year's goal to cut it off a little bit. You will see some that have red stars next to them. We have blenders, low doco, etc. And these are non-caffeine alternatives. So definitely something to take advantage of as well. And after enjoying these drinks and pastries, we really hope you feel refreshed and ready to step outside and experience the rest of Santa Barbara, which is a lot. And we're going to start covering the nature aspect. So whether you're exploring, you're spending time with your friends, studying, or taking a nice little quiet walk, the natural surroundings of UCSB are really what make it very special. It isn't just a scenery here. I like to say it's kind of the heart of the community, and why I like to say our community is so collaborative. The environment really shapes it to be that way. From what I remember when I was an undergraduate, and we have undergraduates here who can attest for it, the environment really helps lift students' spirits, and it reminds students to find the balance, yes, between academics, but also your personal mental well-being. And I do have a question that I'm going to drop as a poll. So again, I love polls, so that is why I have so many of them. And I'm going to ask you guys to go ahead and respond to this one as well. I'm going to stop sharing the response for the last one. But I'm basically just asking you to rank if you prefer more of a relaxing, thrilling, or knowledgeable nature activity. And we're going to cover each of these within the next couple of minutes. I will point out, first of all, that Santa Barbara Botanic Garden and Lotus Land offer you more of a peace and quiet side of nature if that's something you prefer. But if you like more of a vibrant scene, I know Kaya just mentioned the Santa Barbara Zoo, very popular, one of my personal favorites as well. And Stearns Wharf is truly a must if you are visiting our general area. Very lively area where a lot of students end up hanging out. And for those of you who enjoy learning the history of the city you are residing in, if you become a resident of the Santa Barbara area, we have the Santa Barbara Courthouse Bell Tower, and you have a lovely picture here. And we also have our mission. These two really highlight the history behind our great city. And so I'm going to ask, and it's not limited to just the things I covered, because again, we still have lots more to talk to you guys about. To our panelists, what outdoor activity in Santa Barbara is your favorite? And I'm gonna ask Kaya if you can answer first.
My favorite outdoor activity in Santa Barbara would definitely be all the hiking trails that are in the Santa Ynez Mountains. The Santa Ynez Mountains are only about a 25 to 30-minute drive away, and there's a lot of clubs on campus, including the Rexton's Adventure Program, that goes up there and like host hikes. So one of the clubs that I'm in called Off the Grid, it's for female and non-binary identifying students. We organize carpool groups and head up to the Santa Ynez Mountains. So I love hiking up there. It's always one of my favorite weekends, and the geological history is so rich. It's super cool to see.
I love that. And we do have a section talking about hikes, so I know you're gonna have a lot to say about that. And I'll go ahead and pass it on to Kyra.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Kaya. There are some more hikes in the Montecito area, and we have this big club called Excursion Club. We also have other clubs just for women only, and basically these clubs will take you. So if you don't have a car, they can help drive you out there. I just did one called Tangerine Falls. It's a really great one. It's really pretty, lots of boulders to get through. But there's a whole area where there's at least 5 different hikes that you can go on and try a new one every weekend.
I love those. And I will point out, I know I sent out the poll, which you prefer. Seems like relaxing is winning. And so we already covered kind of our more relaxing, laid back environment. But I also want to cover some of the very exciting things and thrilling nature within Santa Barbara. So kayaking, very popular here at our campus. We also have the Santa Barbara Trapeze Company, and those are the closest within around a 15-minute drive of our campus. But probably the most popular activity, and it's something most people have done if they've been to Santa Barbara, is whale watching. It's only about 17 minutes from campus. It's very accessible for families, whether you have a young baby or your elderly grandma. Everyone can participate, so it's the perfect activity to do if you have some family members visiting the area. A little bit farther out at 21 minutes is going to be the horseback rides. I haven't even gotten to do this. I'm going to be completely transparent. This is a little bit more of an expensive activity within Santa Barbara. We are very lucky where a lot of our activities are nature centered, and so they're free and accessible to the local community. But this one is one that's a little bit more expensive, but it's perfect for any special occasion, maybe a birthday, you can celebrate doing that. And this last thing I'm going to highlight when it comes to thrilling Santa Barbara nature, I'm kind of cheating because it's technically not in Santa Barbara, it's in Ventura, but it's only about a 43-minute drive from Santa Barbara. It is the Channel Islands National Park. And I think this is a must, which is why I wanted to highlight it when you are a student here at UC Santa Barbara. Fun little fact about Channel Islands National Park, it is one of the least visited national parks. So you can say you're one of the few that have been. So I definitely recommend you take advantage of that as well. One of the coolest resources at your fingertips that I really want to highlight is going to be the adventure program at UC Santa Barbara. The program essentially offers our students things like outdoor trips, adventure classes, and I'm going to highlight some of those. They have gear rentals, leadership opportunities, and just general community building experiences designed to help you explore and develop your overall outdoor skills. So some of the things they offer, I'll highlight some of them. If you couldn't tell by the lovely picture already, rock climbing, especially indoor, is something readily accessible. Surfing, kayaking, stand-up paddle boarding, if you need any sort of gear for it, we're able to support you through that. I know sailing at Santa Barbara Harbor, very popular activity. They have things like scuba certifications and different camping trips that they organize. So if you've ever been a little bit scared to be an outdoorsy person, it's a little bit intimidating for you to take on, you have these things accessible. They don't require you guys to have any previous experience. They just want you to have the willingness to learn and take these things on. So definitely during your time here, get connected with nature because it is very rarely accessible. And I hope it is for the rest of your lives, but who knows? It might be the 4 years where you get to be in very close proximity to it. So make the most out of that time here. Now I'm going to ask our panelists a quick little question. What adventure program resources have you used, if any, right? If you haven't used any, then let us know which ones you want to take advantage of. And I'll go ahead and start out with Kira.
So the adventure program offers this thing called the Adventure Pass. So about $60 for each year, you can get unlimited rentals on gear at the campus. So I've used that pass and I got some paddle boards. So I got to go out on the ocean for the very first time here. And then I've also rented out some kayaks. And then you can also use that pass to rent out any sort of rock climbing equipment. So if you want a harness or shoes, you can rent that out directly from the school. And we have a rock climbing wall on the school, or you can always travel a little bit further to go a little bit more natural rock climbing.
See, I haven't even done that, so I love that. And then I'm going to go ahead and ask Kaya if you have anything you want to share with us.
Yeah, so I also have the Adventure Pass, and then fun little anecdote. Kira and I are both tour guides, so last year we went camping as our like little social event, and I actually utilized the Adventure Pass to get camping gear, and so I got a tent and a sleeping bag. I got like a chair, and I also got a hammock, which was the first time I've also got I first that's the first time I've ever been in a hammock. I strung it up while we were camping and then I got in a hammock and it was so relaxing just looking over Lake Kachuma. So the adventure I also used it for a few other camping trips I've been on and it's been so helpful not to have to purchase hundreds of dollars worth of camping gear to go camping only a few times a year.
I love that you mentioned Lake Kachuma. I'm not highlighting it in this presentation, so I'm going to really point that out. Lake Kachuma is really close to us, so it's also another spot that you can go visit. There's just so many things in Santa Barbara. I wish I could highlight every single thing, but I'm giving you guys kind of that general context. So let's talk a little bit more about hiking. And I know that was something that was kind of brought up earlier in the responses. It is very true. If you're at UCSB, you're truly in one of the best spots in California for accessible hikes. I mean, you have ocean cliffs and mountains surrounding our campus, so there's a lot to pick from. And it's very accessible to our undergrads. We even have some within our campus. So if you don't have any mode of transportation, a favorite is going to be the Labyrinth Trail. Very easy, very doable for students. We have a lagoon that you can walk around if it's something you're interested in. But if you're looking to expand beyond campus, if you make around a 10 to 20 minute drive or you take the bus, very good alternative. you have the Goleta Monarch Butterfly Grove, and this peaks in activity during the winter time, so maybe you can go out, do some sightseeing. And during the warmer months, Rattlesnake Canyon and Tangerine Falls can provide you with some very refreshing water during those hot times. And finally, if you're looking for an adventure, if you're okay with doing a little bit of a longer drive, around 30 minutes away from campus is San Ysidro's Falls, and this is a must if you're here, but so is the Montecito Hot Springs. I feel like the Montecito Hot Springs is a rite of passage. Most students have already visited while they've been undergrads here at UC Santa Barbara, and you have some lovely pictures kind of highlighting all of those views. These are really just a few of our very popular trails that are a little bit closer in proximity or very popular, but so many are available to you. And there's a whole club that literally focuses on this. And I know Kaya is something you highlighted. So you guys are interested in maybe being a little bit more proactive. It's something that you can definitely take advantage of during your time here at UC Santa Barbara. Now I want to transition a little bit more into the local staples. We're kind of leaving the nature breakdown a little bit behind. I want to highlight some of the local activities within our city. And I'm going to go kind of with the weekly and yearly events that I know a lot of our students look forward to. One of the most popular weekly events is the farmers market. It is closest to us is going to be the Goleta Farmers Market. It happens every single Sunday. Now, if you're okay with driving a little bit farther down, honestly, it's not that much farther, less than 5 minutes. We have the Santa Barbara Farmers Market, which happens every Sunday. A little further down is going to be what we like to call the Santa Barbara Arts and Crafts Show. So if you guys are interested in kind of doing some shopping, a little bit more eclectic stuff is what I like to say, and you're by Stearns Wharf, this is when the Arts and Crafts Show area is happening, so you are able to easily access it while you are in Stearns Wharf, so you can visit two things at once, so definitely do that on a Sunday. Now, our community also has several yearly events that many residents look forward to, including myself, all year. And the first one is going to be the Santa Barbara International Film Festival. That happens every single February. So if you've ever wanted to see a celebrity, we make it pretty accessible. They essentially host screenings, different talks about different films. We have producers visiting. I know this past year, so this past February, they had special guests like Adam Sandler, Kate Hudson, Leonardo DiCaprio. I know Michael B. Jordan was a very popular one, but those are just some of them. So students are really able to connect with the local community if that's something they are interested in doing. Fun little fact about our little Santa Barbara community, the first major Earth Day festival in California, and one of the first in the nation actually, was actually held in Santa Barbara in 1970. And to this day, it's a very large part of our community and it happens every single April. Finally, something else I want to highlight is the summer solstice celebration that happens every June. I personally think it is one of the events that we host that is very memorable. They have live music, different vendors, a whole parade all centered around the summer solstice. So very large event within our community. And these are just three of the yearly events we have. I made a whole full list and I ended up with like 8 yearly events we host. So there's some very popular ones. We have things like our avocado festival, our lemon festival. So fun little things that our community likes to get together and celebrate. Overall, we just have so many events within the collaborative community at UCSB and just the Santa Barbara community. I want to point out that there's a whole calendar. It's the Santa Barbara Independent newspaper that goes ahead and publish this event calendar. You're going to see a lovely QR code. All you need to go ahead and do is look up independent.com/events and you are able to see every single thing that is happening within the general community. They love to make this as accessible as possible for all of you. And the liveliness of Santa Barbara also transcends into the arts. So if you're a fan of admiring beautiful things, we have plenty to admire here. Our very own campus has the Art Design and Architecture Museum, but if you don't mind a 10 to 15-minute drive, there are also many options. So we have the Museum of Contemporary Art, which has a lot of rotating exhibits if it's something you're interested in doing. We have the Santa Barbara Maritime Museum, the Santa Barbara Museum of Art, which does have permanent exhibits, but also rotating exhibits. A little bit more of a historic area is Casa de la Guerra. That is going to be a very historical location, a little bit on the smaller side if you're in a crunch time. If you have any family members that are visiting, the Moxie is a very interactive museum for those younger members of our family. And then finally, we have the Santa Barbara Museum of Natural History. I know this is something Kaya kind of talked about, but they have a lot of crystals in the space, but also a planetarium. So if it's something you've ever wanted to see, Lots of cool things to do within all of these museums, and they're very accessible to our students. There's typically discounted prices for all of these museums if you're showing your student ID. So definitely don't lose that. Don't forget it. And the arts are far just beyond the visual. There's also many events related to music and TV available within the area. And fun fact, UCSB makes these very accessible. So we have the AS program board here at our campus. It is essentially a student operated nonprofit organization. It is funded by lock-in fees that you guys are paying, and it aims to essentially create fun and collaborative educational events for our Santa Barbara community. These events are very accessible in terms of not just the location, but the cost. So they make these very, very cheap, if not free. So I'll give you guys an example. I know we have different speakers come out. I know a very popular one, very widely known influencer. If you're a little bit younger, my Gen Z, Bretman Rock came very recently. I believe the tickets were very cheap. I know if you're into drag race, Trixie came. I went to see them. I think I paid like 25 bucks for the talk, so not bad at all. There's free films every single Tuesday. So if you're more of a movie watcher, you can do that. But then AS also hosts concerts year round. I think Lil Yachty just came, and I will leave that to the undergrads to kind of talk about because I am not sure. I don't want to confirm, but I'm pretty sure he just came recently for one of the concerts. But every single year, we also have things like our annual extravaganza. I know this is one of my favorite lineups. It looks very nice, so you can go ahead and see. There was a couple of very prominent people. I want you guys to directly hear from our students, though. So if you guys can, just highlight your favorite AS program board event. And I'm going to go ahead and start with Kira.
Yeah, I will confirm that Little Yachty did just come, and he has a DJ who is best friends with Ariana Greenblatt. So she was actually there attending the concert, if you know who that is. For me, my favorite AS program event is they put on these free movie events. So if you want something that's maybe not as loud or music oriented, they have a lot of movie events. So they do free screenings every single week, sometimes two per week. And right now, if you've ever heard of the movie Roommates, we actually have a free private screening of the movie even before it's being released on Netflix. So it's a huge thing that's going on here.
And I go ahead and have Kaya share as well. And I will point out I sent out a poll because I want you guys to start thinking about what you're going to be attending.
I'm also going to highlight the Free Tuesday films. I love them. The lineup for the spring quarter is really good. You're going to see me there like pretty much every day, or every week. But one of my favorite ones was one I went to last year. They did Wicked Part 1, and they did a giveaway at the beginning, and I won a Blenders gift card. I stood up and I was like, "Oh my God." And I like ran up there. So loves me some free Blenders, but it was so much fun. I felt like I was at one of the sing along Wicked showings. It was so much fun.
I love that. I also love Wicked. So I wish I would have gone to that, but I'm not a student. But definitely something to take advantage of. And I'm actually kind of curious. I want to see what the poll is looking like. So I'll share out the poll with all of you. Oh, I think we have some varying results. It seems like concerts and Free Tuesday films are what you guys are looking forward to the most. I know I'm a big music person, so concerts were a big one for me, but I think a lot of people are also TV folks. So we have a good amount doing Free Tuesday films. The talks are always going to be there, so if you want to go ahead and share that out too as well. We have a couple of folks who picked that as their selection. All right, thank you guys for participating in those polls. I really appreciate it. Now, all the things we have covered are very exciting and they're thrilling, but sometimes we need to relax a little bit. And I know that was the most popular choice when it came to nature. You guys like being a little bit more relaxed, especially sometimes with the busyness of being a student. Very close to us, within a 5 to 10 minute drive, we have Bolero in Santa Barbara. Essentially, it is going to be a bowling alley, a little bit more of a casual hangout. And then we also have Ice in Paradise, which is an ice skating rink. I ice skated for the first time when I was an undergrad. So if that's going to be you as well, it's very accessible in our community. And then a little bit farther out, within a 15 to 20 minute drive, we have State Street's Axe Club. So yes, you are throwing access. So very unique activity to do. So if you're in a smaller group, this might be a good one. And then we also have the House of Clues Escape Room. So if you're in a group, you're looking to collaborate, practice those collaboration skills, very cool thing to take advantage about. But these are all a little bit more laid back if you're looking for more of a chill activity. And I've also compiled a list of some food spots because I know some of our preferred methods of interaction and building community is eating. I know it is for me. So For brunch, Cajun Kitchen, I've heard is a very popular one. I can attest. I do love Cajun Kitchen. South Coast Deli is a deli. And so if you're looking for something quick and cheap, great option. And if you have people with very different taste buds in your group, we have the Santa Barbara Public Market. When it comes to dinner, Barbareño is, and you will see, has $3 signs, a little bit on the fancier side. So if maybe you have a birthday occasion, that might be a nice one to pick. But if we're a little bit on the budget end, we have Los Agaves and Sama Sama Kitchen, very good alternatives that are local. And so you're supporting local businesses, which is probably one of the best things to do in Santa Barbara because we have so many of them. If you're like me, you have sweet tooth, dessert, McConnell's Fine Ice Cream, very popular choice within Santa Barbara because it was founded here. And then we also have Rory's Artisanal Creamery, which is essentially just ice cream as well. And with that being said, I want you guys to hear from our undergrads because sometimes they have the best recommendations. So, what are your go to local eats? And I'm going to go ahead and start off with Kaya. So, if you want to let us know, it could be something we highlighted or something.
I want to concur with Cajun Kitchen. I actually just went to Cajun Kitchen with my parents and they visited last week. It's so good. It's our always our go-to. Within Isla Vista, my favorite is Yetz's Bagels. It is so good. The bagels are huge. They have bagel sandwiches and just like regular cream cheese bagels. It's so good. I get it probably too much. It's like 2 minutes away from my apartment. And then further down in Santa Barbara, a lunch and dinner place is called Reunion Kitchen. It's right on the beach, so like you could sit outside and have an ocean view while you eat. And they have like a miso uh garlic noodles and a panko breaded asparagus that is absolutely amazing. I love that place.
I am taking notes. I can attest. I visited all of those and I love all of those, but I love the specific recommendations. And then, Kira, if you want to go ahead and share yours as well.
Yeah, in Isla Vista, I really love Kage coffee for just a little pick me up in the morning. And then we've also got this thing called Bagel Cafe, which has these amazing bagel sandwiches. Further in downtown Santa Barbara, I absolutely love this place called Chad's. It's like a breakfast place. It's right on the water. And then I'm always going to East Beach Tacos, which has a variety of different fusion tacos. And then lastly, there's this place called Third Window, which has an amazing smash burger.
I've also been to all of those, and I can attest with Kira saying, love all of those spots. So you guys have a lot to pick from. And I know I went ahead and sent out a poll. Don't know how many of you guys saw it, but I was essentially asking you where you ate if you came to UCSB before. And so some of you went ahead and shared that. So you can go ahead and see those results. Now let's go ahead and finish off today's presentation. I know we threw a lot of information at you, but I'm trying to make your life easier, not harder. I know it's a lot of options. I created some itineraries for all of you so that you guys can let us know what you are thinking of doing when you visit us. So I am going to go ahead and share out a poll asking you which of these itineraries you guys are thinking of following. And while you guys are reading all of this, and I will verbalize some of them, I want to point out that we have our undergraduates here for the next 10 minutes. And so if you have any questions you want to directly ask them, we are going to jump into our live Q&A session. No one is an early bird is what I am already noticing on these polls. And I will not say that so that you guys start voting for early bird, but our early bird one is going to start early, 6 a.m. Montecito Hot Springs, then dark coffee at 9 a.m. 1 p.m. We're going to the Museum of Art, and we're finishing off at the Santa Barbara Zoo, which again, very biased, one of my favorites, and I know Kaya said as well, one of her favorites. Then we have Santa Barbara to Goleta. We have a 9 a.m. Can Bake Shop stop. By the way, best matcha. I don't know if my undergraduates have tried it, but I really like their matcha, so good alternative. And then 11 a.m. we have Goleta Monarch Butterfly Grove, 1 p.m. Stearns Wharf, and then we're finishing off at 3 p.m. at the Moxie. So very museum heavy, I would say. Our Santa Barbara adventure is going to start off at 9 a.m. at the Roasting Coffee Company. And then 11 a.m. we're going to go kayaking. And then at 1 p.m. we're visiting Casa de la Guerra. And we're finishing off at 3 p.m. at the courthouse. So this is a little bit more of a historical type of knowledge-based itinerary. And then finally, backyard exploring. And this is probably going to be your itinerary. If you end up coming to UCSB, it'll be your first thing to do because you are going to be on campus. At 11 a.m., you can go to the Labyrinth Trail, do Kage, which I know Kira was saying was one of her favorites, so I think I picked good. And then 3 p.m. we have the ADA museum visit and finishing off with a 6 p.m. sunset walk, which I know is kind of a staple as a UCSB student. All of our students are doing that. And I'm going to go ahead and end the poll and share with you guys the results. The winner was the Santa Barbara Adventure. So I think we have a lot of adventurous folks with us. And my early bird was not doing so well. I don't think many of us are going to wake up early for that adventure, but maybe you have a good day and you're sleeping in. Alrighty, we are at the very end of today's presentation officially. I did good with timing. I was a little scared I was going to talk too much, but we are finishing right on time at 4:35. But again, we have time for a Q&A portion. So I am going to go ahead and prompt you guys to connect with us. If you're coming to our open house, I can't wait to see you because it's literally within the next couple of days. It's a great time to see our campus in person. But fun little fact, we have social media takeovers happening on our Instagram. I know Kaya, you just did one literally yesterday. And so you guys kind of missed it, but you can still go back. I think some of our stories are still there, but a lot of our students are going to be sharing their life with us. But alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording because